remember that day. I never forgot it. That a slave could take revenge against an emperor.
Most fighters won't survive.
You must help him.
Strength and honor!
That was a look at the highly anticipated Gladiator II. The sequel comes 24 years after the original epic starring Russell Crowe. For more, I'm joined by two of the movie's stars, Paul Mescal and Connie Nielsen. Hi, Connie. Hi, Paul.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
I'm great. Paul, I feel like fans lost their minds in the best way possible when we found out your character Lucius was Maximus's son. So for you, how much did that impact your performance in this movie?
Yeah, I think it informs it more the later we get into the film. At the beginning, he's not under the impression, he's not aware necessarily of who his father is. He knows who his mother is. But I think it was important for me to keep that discovery totally out of Lucius's kind of character arc until he's kind of confronted with it. And I think it was equally exciting for me as it is an audience when I was reading the script for the first time.
So could you feel that switch in your performance when your character finds out that information?
Yeah, but also it's complicated because he doesn't know how he necessarily feels about it straight away. He has to grow into the fact that there's a certain sense of leadership that is expected of him that he doesn't necessarily want to give. And I think that's an interesting place to have a character at the centre of the story.
Oh, absolutely. It's just so fun for us. Connie, speaking of how much fun this is for fans, I mean, my goodness, you're not only the strongest link from the first film, but you're also the most emotional one for us. What has this whole experience been like for you bringing Lucilla back in this way?
It's been like a gift. I feel like Ridley has given me a gift twice over, and I just feel so grateful. It was a total thrill to dive into her again, to discover all of the things that she had, gone through, and also then start telling that story from that moment on. It was amazing. And then, honestly, I couldn't imagine a better setup for a character than the setup that Ridley creates from the get-go of the film.
Absolutely. You know, when it comes to Ridley Scott, who's just such a master filmmaker, Denzel Washington has said Gladiator II is the biggest film he's ever worked on, which is saying something when it comes to Denzel. So, Paul, for you and, of course, Connie, what's it like working on a Ridley Scott film like this?
Well, if it's the biggest film for Denzel, it's certainly the biggest film for me. But Ridley is totally unique and utterly singular. There's no other director, I think, that could, as you said in a previous interview, that you would have at the helm of this, but also there's no other director that would bring it in under budget or under time, which I think we need to be screaming about, because that's a really difficult thing to do.
But also the kind of world that Ridley creates is so unique, and you see that while you're on set. You see, you smell it. There's incense burning. There are fires burning. There are homeless people huddling in the doorways. There is this experience that's so total, and it's all powered by this giant machine that he has perfected, and that makes it possible for him to save money because he uses technology, the latest technology at all available to anyone, and then puts it at the service of this amazing storytelling mind of his.
I love it. Paul, for you, when it comes to those fight battles in the coliseum, which one was more intimidating to film? When your character goes up against the monkeys, the rhino, or the naval battle scene?
I think the question is indicative of the response. There was lots of things to bite off in each of those fights, pardon the pun. But each had a very specific challenge with it. I think just cumulatively over the shoot, your body starts to get tired, which, it's great and it informs the fights.
Well, as a big fan of the original, this was such a great sequel. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
Gladiator II opens everywhere on Friday, November 22nd.